Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer, the host of Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai, where we're going to talk about the Japanese concept of Ikigai, or living a life of purpose. Here you're going to hear inspirational stories from all different types of people who are finding their own life of purpose. You're going to hear about how they found their Ikigai and what they do every day to live an integrated life. So without further ado, let's dive right in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Ikigai with Jennifer Shinkai. I am your host, Jennifer Shinkai, and today I have a magical guest joining us. And I first met David John last year online when I was looking to do something special to celebrate the second year anniversary of the Make March Matter group, which I had been running from the beginning of COVID, and it was our anniversary, and I wanted to do a team building event, but I didn't want to lead it myself, because it's kind of, okay, I'm always facilitating, I'm always running events. I want to just be a guest. I just want to show up and do it. And I'm not quite sure how I found you, but I did find you and I booked you. And we had about 15 members of the community, and it was so much fun. Had such a great time. And then, it was great one-off interaction. And then over the last couple of months, I was like, well, David's posting a lot on LinkedIn and he's talking all about this pivot that he made. And why have I not asked him to be on the podcast yet? And we got back in contact, and I asked you and you immediately said yes. And when we were doing our planning conversation yesterday, the day before recording, you shared about your experience of from side hustle to life savior. And it was such a brilliant soundbite. I thought that would be a great place to dive in. So thank you so much for being with us, David. And yeah, from side hustle to life savior, tell me more.
All right, thank you, Jen. Very good to see you again. And yeah, you found me online, but you also introduced me to another magic show, if you remember that last November or December. You introduced me to another client, and then yeah, that's how people get connected to each other. And then I took Shinkansen to Tokyo. I did the show, and I returned to Osaka, and that's all because of you, Jen. So thanks for the introduction. Yeah, I haven't got a chance to say thank you to you, I guess, probably. So
You're very welcome.
after 3 months. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, but side hustle to life savior. Yeah, I don't know how I found that word, but I found that sentences. But yeah, I did magic. I never really did it for as a full-time job. But I was working in IT, and then I changed job several times and changed career as well. And magic always become my side hustle. I never really chased for it, but I have website, people follow me, people who know me, they will book me. But I never really go around, to find some gigs. And so that's what we call side hustle, I believe, and that's pretty good income actually in terms of the side hustle. And then a few years before the pandemic, I focused my job mostly on the tourism. So yeah, I did a lot of done a lot of different industry in my life. So tourism was good. People love Japan. The reason why you live here, I live here, is because we love this country. And once they come here, they come again and again, right? So I being a tour guide as well, I also arrange tours for companies or individuals who come in group. So going around Japan with big bus, entertaining them, not living with them, staying with them in good hotels, 3 free meals. Oh, yeah, maybe 3 free meals a day. Yes, of course. So that's a beautiful life. And still, magic continued to be the side hustle. And then the pandemic comes. Everything disappeared. All the tours that had been booked.
Yeah, inbound tourism, not so strong.
Yeah, so everything's gone. Like number one industry that will be disappear, right? During that pandemic. But yeah, 2020 was okay. Maybe like 20 tours were canceled just like that, and then the income becomes zero. But I thought this is probably just temporary, maybe a few months, and just the virus, and just like SARS or whatever we had in the past, right? And Mad Cow maybe, but after a few months, no way, this is a totally different level. So I was thinking about something to do, and few months before the pandemic, I actually started something I call experience. So my business partner and me, we basically bought like a tech advanced electric bike, 6 bikes, and we register our service in Airbnb Experience. There's another service they provided, not only the housing, right? And then it ran pretty good. So we took tourists around the city of Tokyo, you know, from like Asakusa, Skytree, Ueno, all this old and new feeling for tourists, and they love it.
That's my area.
Yeah, that's where you live?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I live in Asakusa-bashi, by the way, that time. And then,
hey, neighbor. I'm in Hikifune. So
oh my God. So
we'll
it's
talk
very
about
close.
this later. Sorry.
It's very close. We were neighbors, basically. So, it just started like 2 months, but it get a very good traction. You know, it could be me being the guide or my friends being the guide. And then, yeah, as you know, the pandemic comes and everything just canceled. You know, all the booking has to be canceled. We have to do the full refund, right? To the bookers. We did it like twice a day. So it's pretty good money as well, although we only limited to 5 tourists. You know what happened if you drive too many bikes in the street, right? So I didn't want to go too much. So yeah, and then the pandemic comes, everything disappeared, the bike disappeared, the bike has nothing to do. And then I had to think about what should I do next, right? And magic, which was my side hustle before, it's not something you can do as well. No one wants to see magic face to face, right? Because of the coronavirus. So I took the bike. I thought instead of being so negative at home, thinking about what to do, I just take the bike and I did Uber Eats. So I deliver foods with the bike that I use, like the cool bike. So all other drivers keep talking about the bike, you know, when I meet them. Oh my God, what kind of bike is it? And then so for 2 months, actually, I enjoyed you know, instead of being at home, right? You know, if I can make like if I can make money like at least 3 meals a day to cover my 3 meals a day, I was happy. So at least I do something, you know. And I didn't tell my wife actually when I did that. So I thought I'm going to go out to find some opportunity or whatever. So I did that, and then meanwhile I was looking for other opportunity. And my friends were really nice, you know, those friends from the corporate, from my past. You know, hey David, if you need something, you know, I can create a role for you. You can work for us, you know, even just a temp. Say, oh, that's good, you know. But I don't really want to go back to corporate again. Like whenever I think about it, I can get a nightmare, you know. So I try not to go there. And then I saw this, being in Airbnb already as the experienced host, give me a lot of benefit because I know what's going on in the platform, right? And then I saw that, oh my God, they just opened a new platform again called Online Experience. So I thought, okay, this is probably something I can explore more from the perspective of my magic show. So I have something already with me, but something that I cannot perform to people in person, but now they have online experience. I thought, okay, maybe this is something I can do. So I registered to the platform and I saw only one magician right there. And then there's another one like escape game, you know, virtual tour in Asakusa, things like that. I said, wow, people do that actually. So, and magic show is only one magician right there. He become my good friend right now, by the way. And then I registered my show and I was rejected by Airbnb because they said, you know, your show, maybe it's for children and we don't do experience for children. You know, I think internally they are still thinking about what to do with experience, but this is online, you know, you're not going to take some children outside and put them in danger or something, right? And then it was gone for a few weeks. And then someone in Airbnb Japan happened to browse around all the rejected applications again. And he realized that this is probably going to be good because Golden Week is coming. Oh, it's exactly around this time of that year. Wow. And then, you know, let's explore this more. And then I did audition. They need me to do audition to the employees of Airbnb. And then I said, okay, let's do it. You know, open as many slots as possible for the Golden Week. And let's see how it goes. And yeah, during the Golden Week, I get some small bookings from Japan. And I thought, okay, this is probably good. I just keep continuing doing it. But another mindset I have is like, if this is online, why do I have to target Japan only, right?
Yeah.
So I started to open a totally different hours of my daily life between 12 midnight to maybe 8 or 9. I basically just opened the whole 24 hours. You have the freedom to create as many slots as possible, right? And I happened to get bookings from US, right? And Brazil. That time it was like all over the world, even like Lebanon, Israel, something I never thought about. And that's I thought, okay, this is going well. And then it suddenly become my income, the life savior. That they came to that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that. Oh, like you got rejected at first, and you were the flashiest Uber Eats driver in Tokyo. That's a new information for me. But I love, you know, what you said about that idea of, well, first of all, it's always good to go back through ideas which we rejected once and then go, hang on, situation has changed. What might be there? So I think that's a good reminder for everybody to go through the old file of ideas that we had, and maybe it wasn't their time, and perhaps we can look at it in a different way. And also, it's interesting what you said about just, why am I limiting myself to this particular audience or this particular slot, right? Because I've talked with some entrepreneurs or like other non-Japanese living in Japan, and a lot of people get very focused on how hard it's going to be to like start a business or to like, you know, to work in this market. But I think that what you have done is gone, well, geography is just geography. Like, my offering is universal. So how do I reach those people?
You mean like the audience?
Yeah. So I think you mentioned yesterday, like you realized you had to like sacrifice something to achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Yes. So this probably is something that I can understand why people say that, because before the pandemic, who wants to do the business during the weird hours, right? And now the pandemic came, a lot of bad things happened during the pandemic or because of the pandemic, but a lot of good things happened as well. And for the business perspective, it opens up so many opportunities right now, with being able to use this medium, to do businesses, small and big. And it opened up opportunity for us, foreigners who live in Japan, who sometimes maybe don't feel a lot of confidence in using Japanese to conduct our business. But now, why do we have to target Japanese market, right? Japan is just your home, and you can basically target anyone at all.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice, of course. Like, if you do business with the state, that means you have to wake up, just stay awake at night. People just start to go to work, and you finish your work already. Think positive about it. They just go to right on the train, but you're done for the day. You can take another, I don't know, 2 hours sleep and extra sleep. So you need for every miracle there's a price to pay, basically.
Right. And what was it that you actually, I think you've done several career pivots in your life, but what was it that you learned about yourself in this particular, your most recent pivot to full-time magician?
Well, I think I wouldn't, English is not my first language, so I wouldn't be here today if I didn't do all these previous careers, I would say. So, like being in IT, the reason why I came to Japan, because I used to work for a company back then in Jakarta. It was an ERP software company, and they had so many partnerships with different countries, right? And I happened to be one of the engineers that they sent to Japan many, many times, until someday the Japan brands asked me, hey, why don't you just work with us? They pay cheaper, I got more, and everyone is happy, right? So that's the reason I got here. So I moved around job, and my last IT job was in finance. I was in Deutsche Bank for 6 or 7 years. And then I picked up a lot of connections right there, and also, the way I communicate with people, I believe. Well, being in IT, there's not much, as long as you can talk to the PC, that's enough, right? But I think working in foreign companies, I never really worked for a Japanese company at all. I mean, you hang out with people, get to know people from different industry as well. And the skill that I have after IT, I went to to recruitment, and that brushed up more of my sales skill and the way I communicate as well. Yeah, you have to be a bit different than IT guy, right? And from all these experiences, I think what I can do right now in my experience that I offer to companies worldwide, in terms of the virtual entertainment, well, I can talk their language. So because I think it's not only about doing the magic. I mean, doing the magic is what I do. So but providing a good experience, I think if I can do that, that means I do a great job, right? So yeah, I mean, performing magic is my job, but if I can entertain them, then I do a good job. So to be able to entertain them, it's not only about the magic. We communicate a lot. That's what make virtual event interesting, I believe. Not only like me showing magic all the time, one side, right? So yeah, not only like that. Oh, yeah, only foreigners in Japan who know that music.
It's Japanese magic music.
Yeah, Japanese magic music.
What music do we use in other countries for magic music? Because it is yeah, the only Japanese.
That's only Japan. That's like Mr. Malik did that or something. Yeah. Mr. Malik, the glasses guy. Yeah. Yeah. So because I mean, because of that, I was able to pull out some like IT jokes, or I can talk from their perspective. Facing those IT people in front of me, I would say maybe 70% of my gigs are from IT people. Either people who work in the IT industry or the IT team of that company.
Right.
So like we feel so connected, and we feel so connected, and I did some for some recruitment firms as well, and I had background in recruitment, so I can joke around about candidates or clients, and that helped me a lot, and they feel so connected, right? So based on the review I got from them, it's like, oh my god, it's so relatable, like the show is so relatable. It's not the magic, but the way I present it is totally like from it's like they watch their colleagues or something, so I can pull out some jokes that they are so relatable to them, the way they do the project and things like that. So with that, I think that helped me a lot. Yeah, being in this, maybe not many magicians who come from my background, right? So
if you'd like just gone to Hogwarts and then become a magician, that's a wizard. Sorry, so different. But if you'd been a career magician, right, and that was all that you'd done, you don't have that element of, I know what it's like to be in a meeting and it's 5:59 on a Friday and you're ready for happy hour. Like, that being in the corporate experience, you're bringing that. So, one of the things that when I talk to people about Ikigai and I'm thinking about how they want to live their life, a lot of people are very nervous to take a step because, like, what if it's not the right thing? But I think what's really powerful with your story, David, is, you do these things and then it becomes additive and it opens up these different opportunities. And as you said, like, if I hadn't done those things, you wouldn't be the magician that you are today. You'd have maybe you wouldn't be at all, but you wouldn't have the same show. You wouldn't be connecting with your clients in the same way. So it kind of all makes sense, doesn't it? When you get to something, you're like, oh, I feel like that because I have recruitment experience as well. And it's like, thank goodness I learned how to like talk to a CEO. And just realize they're just people. So because I'd had that direct sales experience, I didn't find when I talked to other entrepreneurs who haven't had that, they really struggle to like do that cold calling. And it's like, well, I wouldn't say I loved cold calling. I hated headhunting, but I didn't mind calling clients. So that was good. So it all kind of adds up. And as you said, like the relationships and the people that you knew in the past, like still supporting me now. So maybe the key thing is to like just do something that feels right for now.
That feels right for now, because you never know what's gonna be the result out of what you do right now, right? And nothing can be bad anyway. If you do it and it doesn't work as you expect, I mean, just go to do what you did before. I mean,
that's what I did. The bridges on the way out.
Just don't burn the bridge. You never want to do that. And like when I moved my career to recruitment, I actually took 1 year off from my financial industry for 1 year off, and I challenged myself to kind of I want to prove myself that I can make a living with just magic. So and that's what I did. I performed in restaurants. I pushed a lot on getting gigs, right? And during like half year or 7 months, I guess, I just did magic almost every day. A lot of restaurants wanted to book me, and some of them, they didn't want to pay me, but they said, okay, we don't want to pay you, but this is like a group of restaurants. Do you know like Ebisuyo Kocho? Have you been there before?
No, I haven't.
In Ebisu, there is like a one big izakaya, and they have like 16 restaurants in it, right? And then I performed that. I said, you get the money directly from the clients. I mean, wow, this is not how it works in Japan, right? It's no tipping stuff here. So I thought, okay, let me just challenge myself anyway. I just have to work for a few hours anyway, right? So I did different way how to get, things. I mean, I wasn't a recruiter at that time yet, so it was a challenge at the beginning. But yeah, I made it. I mean, I made it quite good money. I thought, oh my God, being a magician, performing. I remember I took a note for every income I got every day from the clients. I mean, sometimes I perform like 5 minutes and they're happy. They give you 5,000 yen. Wow, it was like, this
that
is
is
great.
magic.
Yeah, it's magic. And then during the half year, I realized, oh my God, I make quite like 4 or 5 million yen. That's good money. But I thought, my baby was about to come that time. And I thought, oh my God, I probably have to, and now I prove myself. Now let's think about what to do to upgrade my skill in different area. And I just can't continue doing that, right? I thought, right? Because you never know. I met some recruiters during that period of 1 year. People we just want to headhunt you, right? And then some of them become my good friends, and some of them introduced me to other companies like Nomura. I don't remember where, and I went to the interview, but I know those interviewers didn't feel it right because they didn't see my passion, right? I just okay, whatever, you want to hire me, hire me. If not, then it's fine. I didn't show them that I really want the job. So the recruiter saw me like that and they say, hey, why don't you just join us? Just join us. And yes, I joined the recruitment just to brush up my sales skills as well. And after 2 years, I went freelancing with the purpose to do more on magic and then tourism industry as well. So I went through so many industry, but the reason is just I found it right to do, and I didn't have to think too much because I always think that if I fail with that one, I can always go back to where I was, which is why I never really built all the connection I had before. And we had all the skills already, and I believe that the right company will want to have you because now you have experience other than just IT, for example.
Right.
Now you have experience more than just that means we are better in dealing with people. I don't want to go back to do hands-on coding anymore anyway. I think that's what we something that always holding us back is like, shall I do it right now or shall I wait for another 2 or 3 years? Just do it. You always have something to offer if something fail anyway. So
what I really find inspiring with what you've done as well though is, so you've had like these different attempts, right? You've had like the side hustle, then you said, okay, I'm going to commit to it for this year. I'm going to take this year out and try it. And then it almost feels like it kind of took the pandemic, which for many people, was such a difficult situation. And I'm sure it was also difficult for you, but somehow like your time had come, like the world was ready.
Oh yeah,
for you.
yeah, you're right.
Like it didn't feel probably like the stars had aligned at the time, but actually now hang on, here's a way that I can deliver this magic and this experience, and the world's kind of ready for it in a different structure. Yeah,
you're right. I mean, like, I think that was probably the most difficult time of my life because you never know when this pandemic is going to end. And my income is basically like boom, right? Zero. I don't know what to do. And I was so thankful to the Japanese government who was able to provide that 1 million yen.
Yes.
Even to foreigner like us. So, it's, oh my God, I got it like in 5 days. I thought, wow, where this 1 million came from? So that helped me to survive a little bit. And then I started this magic show. I realized, okay, the money is not bad at all because now, doing magic show in Japan is not really easy, or in Asia, because people just try to bargain, right? But in the States, they don't care. They just, boom, boom, just book it. And the good thing about I use Airbnb as my first platform, and it's so easy to shop right there. Like in Amazon, 3 clicks, that's it.
Yeah.
And you just put all the description right there, and then that's it, right? But and then start to get all these things. But what changed my perspective a lot is after I perform it for like, I don't know, maybe like 20, 30 times, I see the happiness in their in their face, in their eyes, like, oh my God, this is actually the good thing I'm doing right now. It wasn't even corporate yet. It's just people who can't meet each other, like people from fourth generation or like a long distance wife and husband or partners. They can't meet at all. And even like 1 year after that, some countries still cannot allow the traveling, right? And you put them together in the room, like sometimes only three of us, right? Me, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, and they feel so happy. I let them use the room, so yeah, you don't need to get a room, just use this room. And then
so
I
they
just log
stayed
out
on the Zoom room afterwards.
Yeah. So I started to understand.
Get a Zoom room.
I started to understand that term. Get a room. You have the room already. Go ahead. And that happiness that I can provide, right? So I thought, oh my God, this is, like you said, the time has come for the world to accept me, right? Or I started to realize that this skill I have that I've been learning for more than 10 years as a side hustle and hobby. Actually,
got a second. Let me just pause this for a minute.
Hello.
We had a little special guest star from my son Ben, so this might not track so perfectly on the editing, but that is the joy of working online from home. And I believe before the interruption, David was talking about bringing happiness. So tell a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so after a few, maybe, I don't know, like 10 or 20 shows, it wasn't really about corporate still that time. It was about family, bringing family together into the screen. And even like lovers or husbands and wife, they never met for a very long time. They can't meet in person, so it's everything long distance, right? And I realized that, when I do the show, they are so happy and they feel so connected to each other, not only to me. And I thought this is like it's not about the way to make cash anymore. It's more like it's like a calling, you bring joy to people's life. And now the door is open. Not only that I'm able to do things to cover a wide range of how do you call this stuff? Regions. This is like it's not only Japan anymore. It's like this is like the whole world is open for me. And I have something that I can offer that the world needs right now. So that give me so many motivation, and I feel like it's probably the most fulfilled job I ever done in my life. Being able to do something that make people happy, and that brings me a lot of joy as well. And yeah, that's actually pushed me more, and I started to learn how to incorporate technology, like more cameras, more lighting. But the main goal is always there to make it interactive, to make people to feel that they are all in the same room, and enjoy the shared experience of wonder together. Without being feeling that alone in that, especially in 2020, a lot of people feel alone and feel lonely as well. And let them have this 1 hour full of fun, and they don't even realize this 1 hour. Sometimes, I know they enjoy it. And when they enjoy it, I really enjoy it even more, because it's like constant exchange of energy, like when we do this kind of thing. And I don't realize it's 1 hour sometimes. Oh my God, it's 1 hour. And they also think so. So that means that they enjoy it. And I'm happy to be able to provide that. So I think you never know what you learn today can be very useful, not only for you in the future, but also for the whole world.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important to, one of the concepts in the Ikigai 9, which is an assessment that you can use to sort of measure where am I on my Ikigai, like where am I feeling strong, and one of them is about like social connections, feeling that I have an impact, feeling that I matter to someone. And I think that like what you have just described is a great embodiment of, it isn't just about what I do, but it's the impact that it has on other people, and how like through the medium of magic online, but you're also able to bring those connections. And I definitely feel like, early pandemic, I was catching up with my family a lot more, but at some point, like, you just run out of conversation, things to talk about, because nothing's happening, no one's going anywhere, no one's doing anything. So we're just going to talk about COVID and the government. you know.
Or maybe the Netflix show you watched today. That's it.
Yeah, you know. Well, I think, you know, people kind of got into those types of things. And during I guess it was 2021, one of my friends, fellow recruiter and previous podcast guest, David Sweet, he launched a reading group, and we spent a year and a half reading all of the works of Shakespeare.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did that. I've still got to read King John. I've not finished reading that. But it was, you know, here's a plan. Here's like what we're going to do. And then we're going to meet every 2 weeks and we're going to talk about this. And it was just like giving the container for the human connection. And I think your show also does that. It just having a kind of, you know, TGI Friday Zoom meeting, it got old pretty quickly. But also like having something to do is really important, to just feel like connected in a different way and to have an experience. So I think it's amazing. I wanted to ask you a question about the corporate teams that you work with, because obviously some of our clients are the same people. And this is maybe less about the theme of Ikigai and just my general curiosity. Like, what have you noticed are like the trends and the changes with how people have been interacting online, like as the pandemic has progressed and more people are back in the office? And do you have any tips for people who are, you know, still managing in this maybe hybrid or maybe not hybrid world? What they can do to engage people?
Well, I think, like, you know, what I see
questions, sorry.
Yeah, well, from my perspective, because I never be really in the meeting with them talking about jobs, right? But from my perspective as this virtual entertainer, in the last 1 year, obviously, the method of the way of working has changed from still fully remote or hybrid. I would say it's like half right now. So half on hybrid mode, that means that people come to the office. Maybe today will be like the 10 team members out of 20. And the rest of the 10 team members, they are still working from home. So when I do that kind of show, I can see some people sitting in the meeting room, like maybe between 4 to 10. And some people are logging in from home. So, and they still communicate pretty well, actually. I mean, to each other, you know, at least from the perspective of me as the experienced host, people in the meeting room in that hybrid situation, they still can joke around with the people remotely. So, and you know what? Some companies actually have a very good setup when it comes to hybrid working style. They actually have like the cameras, like several cameras. And there's one guy who probably is the moderator or something. He can do the switch so from my perspective, right, when I call that person name, you know, when I call the name, and the guy actually pressed a button to zoom into that guy's face. It's like, wow, this is cool. I don't remember. That's probably Microsoft or some other company, but some companies actually do that because they want to support their colleagues to be able to still communicate really well, right? Obviously, you know, like you mentioned yesterday, that we probably not be able to see that face that clear because, you know, there are like 20 logging screens. And one screen has these 10 people. You can imagine that.
So, you know, like the sides of heads. And...
Yeah. So no matter how you get close to your screen, and if you zoom it out, but still in Zoom, you can do it in the speaker modes, right? And then you can probably put and the thing with us, if we don't know them, of course, internally they know each other. But for the outsider like us or the internet client, for example, if they have to meet all these team members, there's no way you can put every names right there.
Yes, at the bottom, right?
Yeah, they normally put like London meeting room or something, or San Francisco. Who is that? So in my case, I always try to get as many names as possible, and you know, like putting the initials, like David John, people call me DJ. Put the names right there because you can't fit everyone's right there. If you have 10 people, right? Or Jennifer, maybe I just put Jane, comma, blah, comma. I can rename it. I can rename your name as a host. And that's how I communicate with them. So as much as possible, I still involve those people, even though their faces are really small in the screen. And obviously, I mean, this is the best setup, right? I can see your face really clear. I can see your reaction. I can see when we turn into skeptic.
Yeah.
So
never. You can see my son coming in the background. You can see everything.
That's a beauty. That's a beauty.
Yeah.
So
that's a really good practical hint, though, David, about like getting those groups, because I think you start to rely, don't you? Like, okay, I can use this person's name, which is really important in any type of meeting, but I can remember this person's name because it's written down here.
Yeah.
And then when you go in the office and you haven't got like the name badge, the virtual name badge, you're like, and then I mean, it's changing a little bit now in the offices in Japan, but like, and then people have got their mask on.
Yeah, who is this guy? You know, like, who is this?
So it's good to have that as well. And you mentioned as well about your like transition before about like using more technology, and I think that that's really an interesting thing for people to think about. So when you first got started, you compare your first couple of shows to your shows now, what's the evolution been like?
Well, it's a lot. It's like from a monkey to a human, from an ape to a human. So yeah, I still have the MacBook right now, but that MacBook is my hero right now. It's like 2016 MacBook Pro. That's what I use to perform maybe at least 200 shows.
Wow.
I mean, a single monitor, probably for like maybe 100 shows until I get a new webcam,
right?
Like the Logitech one.
Yeah.
But in the first 6 months, I try not to use a lot of money, so like you don't have to pay for money to register your experience online. And unless you buy all these new devices, then you basically have nothing to lose, right? You just have to use your time, which is a lot at time, right?
We all had time, didn't we?
Yeah. So I just use that MacBook Pro and some of my Amazon boxes. I
underneath to like lift it up.
Yeah, to lift it up, and then change the angle whenever I need. And I even carry that around with me because I thought, I don't have the camera, multiple camera to switch the view. So I did it standing for a bit near my window because I didn't want to buy a new light. So I used my Windows light, the natural light, right? But the problem comes when I perform overnight. Oh my God, there is no light. And the light from my room is not enough. So I had this dark face. I still have some videos performing, and I didn't know why people still write me a good reviews that time. So, and then after I do it standing, because I feel like I want to do it standing for the first 5 or 10 minutes. I get more energy when I stand up. And then I move the laptop. I carry it around to my table and the boxes, boom, to the table. And I continue the show. When I do the close up, I need to show the coins or the card. I just change the cover of the laptop, change the angle a little bit. So I was, oh my God, if I watch those recording again, I was like, oh my God, how can I ask for money for this kind of experience, But people were happy. They were loving. They still think that's a good show because of the content, not the technology. And after a while, I start to get some cash out of it. I said, oh my God, I got to start investing. So slowly but sure, I invest a little bit more and little by little. And now I'm happy with my setup. So, but always come with the experience first. I think with everything we do, technology can come later. I think just go with the experience. What do we expect that, not do we expect, what do you want them to experience, right? And in my case, I want them to have that kind of joy during the pandemic. And I thought, why do I need the technology right now? I don't want to be in a situation that I just use the technology without giving myself time to learn more. It's a one-man show. There's no one can help me when the technical problem happens, right? So I thought the less the better. Just this one laptop, this native camera, that's it at the beginning. So I never start with technology and then invested little by little, more and more. Yeah.
And now you have this amazing product, and like recently you went back to your home country, and you're able to like continue to like service your clients from that there as well. So it's also digital nomad.
Yeah, digital nomad.
Yeah, because you've not tied yourself to a certain like the face-to-face. Do you still do face-to-face shows though? If someone
I do, but in Japan, not much, right? When I was living in Tokyo, I had a contract with Tokyo American Club. So they hired me to with the recreation team. So recreation team is the team that deal with a lot of kids party.
Yeah.
And I love kids, so I don't mind doing kids show at all. Although it's a lot of a lot of horror story when you perform for kids, right? Because they can just come to grab your props, and let's get around. So but I was pretty good at that. If you've been to Tokyo American, you've been to
Yeah.
American, there's a bowling area right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then next to it, there's a billiard table, right?
Was that
That's
your
my
zone?
magic table. Yeah,
Your
that's my
magic-
magic. Yeah, so I just set up my stuff right there, and then I tried to be as minimal as possible. So I did a lot back in Tokyo, and then corporate events, obviously, and which happened most of the time during the December anyway, right? So I never really pushed for it. And then I moved to Osaka last year because I thought this is what I'm going to do. Online is like most of the thing I want to do because you just have so much time to perform. Even like in the in-person show, you probably can do what, 2 at more, mostly happen in the evening anyway. And during this crisis, not only crisis, but now online experience, you can do it as many as you want.
Yeah.
As long as you have still strong voice to talk.
Yes.
So I want to focus on this because I know this is not going to disappear as long as remote work is still right there. And in person, of course, I'll be happy to do that. So last year, you introduced me to Yoko-san.
Yeah. We'll leave it there. We'll just say Yoko-san.
Anyway, so I was happy to do that. Now I do it sometime in the hotels right here, but yeah, that's not really my focus. I'm not really chasing for in-person show. I really enjoy it. Of course, you still need to meet people, right? You still need to meet people. But in terms of like the flexibility and I enjoy it as much basically. You don't have to pack your suitcase, right? That's a big problem. That's a big difference.
Yes. I have been slowly like doing a few more face-to-face events, and I realized, one, I'm totally out of practice. Like walking and talking, what? It's really hard. Yeah. My clicker wasn't working the other day. So but yeah, like having to like have all my props and all of the things. It's like, I probably need to have a checklist again. Like this isn't natural for me after 3 years. But also what I think I appreciate about what you've said too is having that openness and flexibility that actually you can make an amazing connection online. You can have that same energy exchange. It can be really meaningful. And I think that one of the words which always triggers me around this whole theme is in Japanese, people say riaru, for like face-to-face.
Yeah, they call it riaru.
Riaru. So real. I'm like, this is real. This is real. What's happening now? And like the magic shows you did for the Make March Matter community, that was real. Like my laughter was real. The amazement, the joy was real. Hoping I wouldn't get picked was real. So I just, it's kind of a passion point for me as well to, if like what the expectations are and what people bring to the interaction is more important than the media.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people pretend like, oh, we had all these meetings face to face in the office and they were all amazing and all supportive and we all like collaborated all the time. I'm like, I don't think we did. A lot of times if I was in a corporate environment pre-COVID, it's heads down. I'm on my email. I'm sending like a message, a Slack to my colleague, kind of pre-Slack. We didn't have Slack, but like we were emailing each other. Not talking to each other. They sit next to each other. Didn't want to disturb her or him. So I think there's some rose-tinted glasses about what time in the office means and what can be, and some people not so open to what's possible for remote work. I love that you're like this ambassador for remote because I think it gives a lot of opportunities for people to connect in different ways, to have different flexibility. Like as a caregiver, changed my life.
Totally
changed my husband's life. Yeah, because he works from home full time now.
Nice. You too, right? So 2 of you are working from home now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I worked from home since I started my business 7 years ago, so a little bit different, but I was obviously more on site with clients.
Right.
Same for you now. So now I have clients in India, in Australia, in Hong Kong,
in
Singapore.
See, that's the thing.
So I don't have American clients because I don't want to be up at that time. That's a boundary which I've set. But I have expanded. And in the nature of the work that I do, that's sort of useful for people, for my clients, because I'm coming from a different perspective. I'm not assuming anything about what is normal. because I've never lived in Delhi, so I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a very good point actually. Like a lot of people in Japan, probably they think that they don't want to get into this room, right? And most of the time they don't even turn on the video. It's basically like having a how do you use it? It's like a FaceTime audio.
Yeah.
So why do you
A phone
have to
call.
jump? Yeah, you don't have to go to Zoom then. If you just want to listen to your colleagues, just use a FaceTime audio then. Create a group and FaceTime audio. So and also like you say, the interaction is so much important than just logging in talking about what you want to talk about. You know, people things that's probably makes Zoom so boring, right? I think and they don't want to do the things that they normally do in person. I mean, just jokes around. And they probably don't feel comfortable to do it on Zoom, right? Because they think they're far away. Like when they meet in the room, they probably can jokes around, like talking about things like freely. Just do the same. You know, like I'm talking to you right now. I don't really feel like you're in Tokyo. You're just in front of me right now in a quiet meeting room, right? I think it's a good factor, of course, like when you don't have a car sounds or things like that. But yeah, that's the mindset that still a lot of people try to change. And you know, people like us who believe in virtual, you know, like
believe in virtual, it's real.
I believe in virtual, it's real. It's not real for a lot of people in Japan.
Yeah. I'm not in a hurry to go back to the office. Anyway, this is getting away from the topic of Ikigai, but I think it maybe does connect in as we can think about what's the lifestyle that we want to have, and maybe it is possible. You know, there are finding those like-minded people, like you found this whole audience of people who relish the opportunity to experience joy online. So it exists. And now you're able to kind of marry those things together and have your life savior from your side hustle, which is amazing, very inspiring. But we're coming towards the end of our time together, and you've probably got a million shows lined up this evening. So I want to ask you two final questions, which I always ask. One is, what is a question I haven't asked you that I should have asked you? Or something you want to talk about, and you think, oh, let's make sure we get that on the table before we leave?
I think it's more on if I can say something about starting something that we have been wanting to do.
Please do.
Yeah. You know, instead of like the pandemic is a good example, right? I know it's the crisis, so people probably have no choice but doing it. Instead of saying I lost everything, I mean, I know I lost everything in the business though, but I didn't lose everything. So instead of saying that I lost everything, you know, what we can do with what we got left, right? And there's always something we can, you know, can offer. There's something we just have to keep digging in. Don't give up searching. You know, like a lot of friends of mine, they start their food business, right? Suddenly, and they love it, and they also make money out of it. They survive. But a lot of people, they just give up to the situation, because a lot of things we can't control, you know, but we can do something about it. It's just like how we take all this situation. Like we cannot control the pandemic, right? I mean, I want it to be over. There's no way, but there's always a thing that you can accept the fact that you can control that and do something about it. I mean, it's too big to handle, but you have this with you, like the two hands. For me, I have these 10 fingers who can do amazing things to make people laugh or to entertain people. So yeah, so just start with what you got left in this situation, what you got. If it is not the pandemic, what you got.
So work with what
not
you've
thinking
got.
too much. Yeah.
So. And that may be the answer to the next question as well, or perhaps you have some other words of wisdom, like the final message you have. Like if people listening to this podcast only take away one thing, what is it that you want them to take away?
Well, don't listen to the naysayers, I would say. Because a lot of people, they don't know what you're capable of, right? But you know what you're capable of. But you know, just don't go too deep into this. How do you call it stuff? The toxic positivity.
Okay,
you
so
still
not
have to know
toxic
your
positivity,
limit.
but also don't listen to people who
yeah. Like they don't know your limit, but you know that you know what you're capable of. But for example, you need to jump into some crazy business that require like 10 million yen or something, and you don't have the money. That's obviously impossible, right? But if you have these kind of toxic things, oh, I can do it, I can do it. You go, what are you gonna do? You can rob a bank or something. If you don't have that money, obviously you can start. You cannot start. But most people, like small business owner or self-employed, or people like me, or maybe yourself, we don't need money to start what we want to do. I mean, if you take that first step, you're basically halfway there already. So taking that first step is what's so difficult for a lot of people. Right. So once you take that first step, everything will be like a lot easier, getting easier and easier. So
great. I love that. And also you've just reminded me about naysayers. I don't want to say like be careful who you surround yourself with, but it is really important to have people who believe in your potential, or who'll believe you. David, you're going to launch an online magic show. Tell me more. Not, oh, does anybody?
You know, that's
they're not helpful in that timing.
So you at least have like 1 or 2% out of 10 will tell you that, you will definitely do it, because that 2% represent who you are.
Yes. And the other voices are all the ones like, I've already thought about this, but I've still decided to do it. I know it's going to be hard, and I know I don't have the money, so I don't need to hear that message again. Thank you.
Exactly.
So we already have those self-doubts all covered inside. So we're going to be sharing in the show notes down below, if you're on YouTube, or in the podcast as well, all the places where people can contact you, where they can book their Airbnb experience as well. They can find out more. And even if you're not particularly interested in magic, I really recommend that you follow David on LinkedIn. Because the stuff that he's posting around what he's learning, I think so applicable to people in corporate roles, to entrepreneurs. So magic is the medium, but not the only message. And it's really, really great content, as well as, of course, the magic experience is fabulous too. So thank you so much, David. I've had a great time talking to you. Because this will go out as a podcast first, I was like, oh, should I ask him to do some magic? But then I thought it might be a little bit boring to have magic until we go onto YouTube. So I do recommend that people. You have a YouTube channel as well, right?
I do, but mostly only for like promotional videos.
So there's some little people can get a little idea of like what to expect and some of the things as well. So please check it out. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And wishing you all the best of success. Your life savior.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.